This is a test. You're live. Okay, good. Fantastic. Let's see. So I have the chat open here. In case there are any comments, I'm happy to respond to them. So hello, everyone. My name is Protesilaos, also known as Prot. Today, what I will do is I will create a new package called modus-themes-exporter. And the idea with this package is to make it so that it reads a modus theme or modus derivative theme, and it exports a template or another theme for a target application. And I will try this with Xterm as the target application. And then, of course, as the package develops, there will be more targets for exporting, like Vim and other terminal emulators. So there is that. Let's now get started right away. What I need to do is have KeyCast over here. And I am now using one of the F themes, one of my F themes package from my F themes package. And the F themes are derived from Modus. So this will work just fine. What I want to do then is go and do the modus themes exporter, and then modus themes exporter.el. So I will start with a new theme, and I want to create the directory for it. Not a new theme, a new file. And what I will do is I will initialize a repository here of Git. Actually, what I can do also, let me copy here. Maybe you don't see it here. These two, because this is useful. Let's do here modus exporter. Okay, let's move those there, and we can dismiss this. I don't need this right away, but it may be useful later. And with this is what? This is good. Yes. So the idea is we will start with the basics. So let's see, there are a couple of comments here. Hello, Prot. I see that this topic stayed with you. Yeah, it's what you asked me last time. And I was like, well, of course, it has to happen, right? Hello, Prot. Hope you're having a nice afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Everything is good. And I am excited to work on this and see what we can do with it. So let's get started, folks. The idea is that we depend on the modus themes. Actually, what I can do, let me actually go here to the modus themes, and let me grab this. I haven't actually written any snippet to streamline this process, which is, of course, a pity. I should have done this given how many packages I have written, but I haven't actually done it. So let's copy from here, and that's good. So what we want to do here is wherever there is modus themes, I want to be modus themes exporter. Here, here, not here, and here. Good. Let's change this commentary to work in progress. And let's make this all caps like that. This is good. This is good. Because I will not put this on Elpa, it will just be me. Let's have that. So here and here, what I want to do actually is export a modus theme to another application. Okay, so this is the idea. We have the modus themes. Now, here is the core functionality that I want to implement. Let's go to the Scratch buffer. Here is the Scratch. What I want to do is we have modus themes. Modus themes, get a palette. We have a palette, get theme palette. Okay. And here it will accept a theme. If you see the bottom of my screen, that's LDoc, and it highlights the positional argument. So a theme, for example, if I say F eagle, which is the current theme, this will produce the palette. Okay. And I can actually do this. So here, and then of course I have the palette over there, and I can just do that. And basically this gives me the palette. Okay. So I get the palette. That's the first step. So let's sketch this out. So there will be a function which will be like let the palette, okay, and then it will be the palette. For example, we can do here a test palette. Let's evaluate this. So we have actually the test palette here, test palette here, okay. And given this palette over here, what we will want to do is create bindings for something like this. Let's say, for example, I want to do, now of course this is not, let's actually do it like this. Let the palette and let red be a list get red from the palette, just so you get the idea. So then I want to produce a list of, for example, red. Okay, and that will be the way it will be. Now, it won't be a list. The way it will be is, for example, we will have X term. So let's imagine that X term is X term, and then I will check how it is in my X resources. Okay, so we have, of course, I have it all in a super fancy way for no good reason whatsoever. No, this is wrong. This should be here, okay, which is, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Okay, so this is how X term will look like. So, no, I want to be in the scratch. So X term looks like this, okay? So the idea then for us is to basically do this, concat, and then I will just do here, this, and then let's go here, and then we can have a color there, and then let's have this. So the idea will be to do basically this, okay? So let me put this here, and you see how this works. Okay, let's for now have actually color bound to something. Color, and then it will be something. Okay, so, and here, the color one, which would be red, let's use red. And so you will see what it will do. So let's, of course, something, what? Sequence P something. What did I do wrong? Ah, of course, because I am concatenating. Okay, no problem, my friend. If you say so. Character P, oh, what am I doing wrong? Huh? One second. What is wrong here? So let color be something, and concat this with color. Okay, that works. And then I got an error about red. Okay, interesting. So a list get red from the palette. Wait, the palette is like this. A list get red from the test palette. Aha, okay, gotcha. So that's a list, of course. What I want is the color. Okay. So what I would want is a list get and then the car of that. Okay, fine. We will have a function to do that. So let's have it here. So here, let's have the car of that, just for me to show what I want to do, okay? And then this will produce a theme, basically like this. Of course, actually, let's do it a little bit better. So here, let's actually go to the end of the line here and also insert a new line. So do that, yes. Okay, I should have gone there, doesn't matter. Okay, so now we get this, which is correct. So this would be the idea. Okay, so this gives you a theme for X term. And then, of course, we will have all sorts of templates for everything, and then that will work for every single case. So let's go ahead and implement this basic loop here. with a function that will be the main function, modus themes exporter, export. Okay, the theme to the application. Okay, so export modus theme to the given application. When called interactively, prompt for theme, and then prompt for application. When called from Lisp, theme is a symbol of a modus theme that is among those returned by the function modus themes, get themes, I believe. Get themes, yes. Okay. So there is that. Application is a symbol among the modus themes exporter supported applications. Right, so that's already good. I have said before that I write the docstring as the source of truth, and then I write the code because the docstring expresses my intent, whereas the code may have bugs or whatever. So the docstring hopefully has no errors of that sort. So I saw some comments in the chat and I'm coming, folks, but let me write just this. Modus themes exporter supported applications. And for now, I will just have xterm, but we will add more. List of symbols representing supported target applications. Okay, so we have that. Supported applications for export. Applications to export to. List of symbols representing applications to export modus theme to. Okay, let's call it like this. This is good. Let me check the chat very quickly. It's awesome to be able to see the birth of a new package. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. This package would be amazingly helpful in maintaining ports of modus themes and its derivatives. Yeah, let's get it going and then we will see how it goes. But in principle, if it's good, then of course, yeah, it can do that. So, greetings, Prod. Hope you are doing well. I'm fine, thank you. And I am starting out on this project here to implement a new package, and I hope it goes well. We will see. We will see. So, for the theme here, we have modus themes select select prompt. I think this is the one. Let me actually call it. Okay, this looks right. Beautiful. This is right. Of course, now I have it to only show the F themes, but let me actually do this. So I have modus themes, sorry, F themes take over the modus themes. So I don't want to take over, and I want modus themes include derivatives. So I want to include the modus themes and all the derivatives. Let's go here. So now I see F themes, I see modus themes as well. So that's beautiful. So let's pick, for example, F. Okay, let's pick eagle, but let's pick another one just for demo purposes. So that will return, let's go in the scratch. So this should return a symbol. So let's put arbutus, for example, and that returns the symbol F arbutus. So that's brilliant. Okay, let's go here. We already have the one prompt we want, and the other prompt will be modus themes exporter application prompt. Okay, so this is good. Let's go and implement it. Before we implement a prompt, we want to implement its history. mini buffer history for the prompt. Okay, do it like this. So that's good. And now let's do the prompt, which will be the prompt. I don't think I need an optional text, but it has happened many times where I need that. So I will have it here preemptively. So prompt for an application among these, right? So prompt for an application among these. So it will be let the default be the car of the history. So the car of the history is the default, basically the last thing you pick. And then completing read format prompt, and it will be or the text, otherwise the select target application. Actually, I will explain why I put it in caps, but let me write this out. And then we want to do the, what's it called? Modus-themes-exporter, supported applications. And then, let me see, predicate nil, require match true, initial input nil. The history is the, no, what is that? No, go away. This is very old. Oh my goodness, what did I paste in? So that's, of course, something from the manual. The last thing I pasted on my website. Okay, so that's not good. What we want is this. History, it's here, right? So history, yes, and then the default. And does it have anything else I need? No. Okay, so that's already good. And the reason I put here application in all caps is because if you have many prompts and they all kind of look the same, eventually you can get confused. Whereas if a prompt highlights kind of what you want, then it works. Now, I put here optional text because it's very useful in a prompt. You see, I have it here, optional prompt as well. So here it says select theme, right? That's the default prompt, which is okay. But what I want to say here, select theme to export. And you see again my convention of using capitals. And it is now about a theme, okay? And the rest you can read. So select theme to export. Then here, select target application. So that's good. This is very good. So let's confirm now that this code works already, what we have here. No, wait. This doesn't work because this one here returns a string. So if I call it actually now, it will return a string. Let's actually do it. So it should give me X term and it returns it as a string. So what we need to do is intern that like this, and we are good. Okay. So now let's confirm that this works. So what I want to do is simply say message. So I will get the palette of, and then that to export to, and then this. So the palette of theme to export to the application. Okay, good. So this, of course, is our main point of entry to the package. So we want to auto-load it. That's very good. Let's do Emacs modus export here. Select the theme to export. Let's say I'm interested in F-Eagle. Okay, select the target application. We only have X term for the time being. And it says I will get the palette of F-Eagle and export it to X term. Okay, good. So here, let's have another one. URXVT. URXVT. And I believe it's U and then it's X, but of course I'm not sure now. Okay, yes. X, Y, Z. So yeah, it's U is before X. Okay, so let's have URXVT. The reason I have URXVT is because I know that it's basically the same as X term. Okay, so we have that. Let's now go and create the variables for each of those applications. But let me see, because there is something in the chat. Let's see. Prot, do you prefer warm tone themes or cool ones? I don't mind, actually. if you see all my themes, like it's a very vast collection, maybe 50 or more. There are many warm ones, there are many cool ones, and I don't mind either. It depends also on the environmental light. So it really depends on what you are exposed to. There is no such thing as a good theme in a vacuum. If anybody claims that they have a good theme in a vacuum, they are not considering the environmental light, and basically they are wrong. So depending on the environmental light, like if you are in a room that has warm lights, for example, having a warmer theme is good. If you are in a room that has cooler light, or natural light for that matter, that is not directly hitting you, like on an overcast day, for example, such as today, the light is relatively in the middle. It's neither cold nor it's neither cool nor warm. So you don't want to have a really warm theme or a really cool theme. You want something in the middle. Um, Let me show you some warm theme, for example, here. Like Melissa Light would be fairly warm, but maybe that's a bit too colorful, depending on your taste. Reverie would be a warmer. No, not Reverie, sorry. Reverie is cool. Dream, no, I forget now. Orange, of course, would be really warm. Day would be warm. So yeah, there are many cases, but it depends also on what you are doing. So where was I? Of course, summer. Um, so let's actually do Arbutus. That's another nice theme. Or actually, you know what? Let me stick to Eagle, the one I started out with. I load the themes by random, by the way, and that's what I ended up with now. So Eagle is kind of in the middle. It's not warm, not too cool. It's somewhere in the middle. Let's see. Hi, Protesilaus. The native LaTeX highlighting on Emacs is really bad with comments and code snippets, and Photlog doesn't seem to be able to solve it. Have you got any advice? I don't write LaTeX myself, so I don't know. But if you send me some file and you tell me how to reproduce basically what you are seeing, then I can look into it and fix it at the theme level, or basically give you some more informed opinion on how you could go about this. But generally, the idea is this. So you see some text that has a color, okay? You go over the text with the color and you do mx describe dash char. Char here is a short for character. So describe char. It will produce a help buffer. At the top of this help buffer, there will be information about the underlying text. You don't really care about this. What you really care about is to scroll down to the help buffer and to find the face. Here it says there is an overlay, so ignore that. But here there are text properties, so there is a face. And now you have identified the face that is affecting what you are seeing. And based on this, you can, of course, click here, follow the link, and customize this face through this interface, and take it from there. Or, of course, if you know how to customize a face, just do it from code directly. In the comments there, we also have or use describe face. That is good, but of course, that means you know the face you want to modify. If you know the face, then of course, MX describe face will also work, will also take you to the same destination. So here we are, folks. Let's continue. List of symbols representing the application. So what I want now is, of course, we have the prompt here, okay? So we have the exporter prompt. What we would now want is a function modus-themes-exporter, and then get application, and it would be for the application. Let's call it get template. Get template, better. So PKs, the application, okay? So it's xterm, and actually, I think I should implement those as, I'm not sure. I have to think of it, if they should be functions or variables. I like the idea of functions because then I could pass them other arguments, such as give me just the 16 colors, or give me, the 16 colors plus foreground or background, or so I will implement it as a function just for that. Modus themes exporter. get xterm. This is that, and then the same idea we want to do for xvt. Okay, so, and then of course error. There is a pcase exhaustive, by the way, but I don't understand why we need 10 different macros to basically write an error. So you can just use pcase for everything and just adapt it like this. Error, the application is not known here, and it's the application. Okay, so get the template, or sorry, return the template of application. Here it is. The template is a string with format. Actually, I'm not sure if I want it to be a string. Let me think. We will think about how best to do this. So get the application. So that will give us the application. And of course, I have to implement these now. But I haven't thought yet how best to implement them. So maybe they should have arguments, but I haven't considered it yet. So it would be urxvt. I have to think how best we would do it. Maybe we could pass it to the theme and it would decide. Basically, that's what we will do. Get template. Wait. So get theme, actually, I will call it. Get theme. Return the theme of application, or let's say palette. Okay, let's call it palette. Return the theme of application that using the given palette. Palette, like this. Okay, so then let's do palette. Of course, we should have an error if palette is nil. But okay, let's leave the error now. That's fine. So actually, let's have it. So let's do unless palette. Of course, we could have a more robust error, but for now, this is a good first step. The palette cannot be nil. Palette. Okay, like this. Of course, eventually, as the package matures, these sorts of errors will have to be fleshed out more and be more robust. Okay, so that's good. So here we take a palette, and there could be more optional arguments, right? Like there could be like, I want more colors or fewer colors or whatever. Like we can think of how best to do this. So I will think about it. But for now, let's work with this. Let me see. I saw some comments in the chat. Thanks for sharing your opinion. Yes, we read that. What are you exporting to? So the idea is to export a modus theme to another application, for example, xterm in this case. And then if in principle, we just implement a new application and basically it works for any application. Hi Prot, do you think it would be an interesting project to try for me to learn eLisp is that I build YouTube chat streamer for Emacs? Well, I mean, interesting is a question that only you can answer because is it something that you feel passionate about? Are you inspired to work on it? Is this something that will be useful to you? If you feel passionate about it, then yes, of course, it is interesting. If your question is along the lines of, well, would the Emacs community benefit from this? I don't know. Probably yes, but I don't know. Like, I think it's useful, but I cannot say. So for me, how I do it is it something I am interested in? If I am interested in, then it's good. I don't care what others think. Basically, that's how it is. And I don't mean I don't care what others think in the sense that their opinion doesn't matter, but in the sense that if I don't have the enthusiasm for it, then the opinion of others will not engender that emotion, that enthusiasm. Okay, so if I have it, then I can proceed. Okay, so get the extern palette. So given the palette, so okay, we said that we have the palette, but I need to see how to get colors out of the palette in a more reliable way than doing this A-list get. So maybe we can do here modus themes. But wait, one second. We have modus. Oh my goodness, modus themes get color, right? So get color value. So what am I doing in that? From the theme. Of course, I could be using this, but this asks for the palette every time, which is not what I want to do. Retrieve palette value from the palette. Okay, beautiful. So of course, this function here has to be made public now. So we have to take a detour, folks. So I have to go to the modus themes. So here, and I have to retrieve the palette value. So what I will do here is define obsolete function alias, this, and then the new version is retrieve palette value. It's like this. And what are we on? Is it 5.2? I have to check. 5.3. Okay, so we have that, and now let's rename this to modus themes retrieve palette value. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's commit actually this. Let me make sure that there is no more to it. Make this public. Okay, off you go. That's good. Let's come here now. So we want this function. So So we have the function, so we don't need something else. What we need now is a small wrapper here, modus-themes-exporter, get value, get color. Let's say get color, and it will be the color from the palette. Get the color value from the palette. Color is a symbol, while palette is an A-list of the form returned by the function. The function modus themes get palette. What was it? Get theme palette. Okay. Get theme palette. Okay. So the color from the palette. So what we want to do is this, the color from the palette. Did I evaluate? I didn't evaluate that, folks. One second. Let's go here. Okay, bye. So that's good. So we have that. So we have what we need here. So we can have here red be red. And basically, I have to do this for different colors. And that would be the idea. So let's have a green here, green, and here is yellow, and here is blue, and here is magenta, and then it's cyan. And I want to do the bright actually as well. So we have here, let's have it like that. So I want to come here and then go one here, bright, and for now make everything warmer, but I will return. I don't want everything to be warmer actually, like that. So we have green, we have warmer. I want the yellow to be cooler. Blue warmer actually is fine. Magenta cooler. and then cooler as well. It's a style I like to vary it like that. The problem we have here, of course, is black and white. So we have to be careful with black and white, because black is term color 0 and white is term color 15. So we want to have black and we want to have white, but we don't know if the theme is light or not. So what we need to do is, by the way, here, we don't need this, okay. So we want here to get, let me actually do it a little bit differently here. So we have foreground and background. So foreground, FG main, okay, and then background, which will be BG main. Here, background, okay. So background and foreground, let's do it like this. So if modus themes dark, I have a function, no, color dark P, the background, wait, so the background, so if it is dark, then use the background, otherwise use the foreground. And wait, I want to do this here. BG black and white. No, actually, let me not be too smart. BG dark P. Okay. So let's do it like this. Actually, BG dark P. So let's do it like this here, and then we can have this, okay? So if that is that, then this is this. Okay, so that way we have the, oh, sorry. And of course, we need to do the same for the background dim, BG dim, and then for FG dim, like this. And then, of course, black, we have then bright black, black bright, which will be background dim, otherwise foreground dim. And here, same principle. Of course, white bright is the actual white in this case. So the white here is the dim. Okay, so that's already looking good. Now we come to the point where we want to actually spit out a template. But let me see the comments 1 second, and we can continue. Oh, lots of comments. What happened? Where are we? We are here. Good day. Recently moved to Emacs as a long-time Vim user, using evil in text buffers only and Emacs native in everything else. Okay, sounds good. I wish you good luck. It takes some time to get used to Emacs, but I think if you are patient and persistent, you will be just fine. Let's see. In my opinion, the color should be named FG code variable, FG code, FN name, etc. They could be, yes, that would make sense for sure. But let's continue. Not interactive. You mean this function here? Of course, it could be interactive, like, but I want to have like a main point of entry for now, and then I will see how to do with the others. But yeah, of course, making this interactive would be the same principle, like you prompt for a palette, and then you just do the same work. So that's the nice thing with Emacs, where, let me go down here. For somebody who doesn't know, of course, maybe you know, but somebody who doesn't know. When you write the parameters of a function, you can declare in the interactive specification how those parameters are to be retrieved. So in this case, we have a list of 2 parameters. And we say, if this function that is called interactively, this list, okay, will be, this is the first parameter, this is the second parameter, okay? And this is also reflected in my comment here. When called interactively, prompt for one, prompt for the other. When called from Lisp, these are what we expect to get, basically. Okay, so that's the idea. So that's the nice thing with Emacs, where you can have interactive. So making this function interactive is, of course, fairly easy to do. What happened to KeyCast? Okay, when I use the mouse, it disappears. Okay, let's see more comments. Prod, you might have answered this already in a previous stream video. What was the reason to switch from Vim to vanilla key bindings? Do you feel that it puts more stress on your arms? Do you regret the switch? Thoughts? The reason I did it is because I wanted to give Emacs a fair chance. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to come here with any preconceived notions. I don't want to be basically complaining, oh, why isn't Emacs Vim? Right? That wouldn't be fair to Emacs. So I was like, you know what? I just do the Emacs way and I will try it for a month. And if I don't like it, I will quit and go back to Vim. No big deal. Okay. But then, after a while, I got used to the Emacs keys. They felt really natural. In the beginning, nothing seemed to make sense. I was like, well, Vim is much more efficient, right? But over time, I was like, Vim isn't actually more efficient. More efficient you are if you know what you are actually doing and if you are writing and if you are in the flow. Being able to type stuff quickly, that's a fraction of efficiency. And then, of course, with Emacs, you can always implement whatever functions you want to become more efficient. So the key bindings themselves are not really the problem. About putting strain, Vim keys also put strain on you. Like if you have to do escape all the time, even if you put escape on caps lock, you are still using your pinky. Actually, it's very bright in my camera now that I see it. But basically, you are still using your pinky the whole time to escape. Of course, if you have escape up there in far away in the corner, then of course that's even more painful. No questions there. Same with shift. Basically, your pinkies will still be doing a lot of work. Tab, of course, all that. So I don't think that Vim is actually more ergonomic. Plus, of course, Vim is designed for QWERTY, so if you ever switch to something else, HJKL don't make any sense anymore. That granted, I have talked in previous videos as well that you can customize your keyboard. Like there is a software to do that now. You don't need a custom keyboard. There is software like Kanata, like Kmonad that allows you to remap keys and basically do what you want. And the minimum I recommend is so you have the space bar. Next to the space bar, the button next to it, the key next to it should be the control, in my opinion. So you can type it with your thumb. It's not too far away. And you don't have to curl your thumb. It doesn't have to be like this, right? And you don't have to stretch it either. So no stretching, no curling. It's just there, okay? The natural position. So having the control there and using both thumbs, that's absolutely essential. You use the modifiers on both sides of the keyboard. That's already a good first step. Next to the thumb, you put the Alt key or the Meta key. And then in the corners, you put the Super, because Super you will be using less for Emacs. Of course, if you use Super a lot and Meta less, put Super in the middle and then Meta on the outer edge. That's fine. So you can do stuff like that. Then you can do other things, such as one-shot modifiers. So you tap, release, and within a few seconds, which you can configure, you press a key and that registers as, for example, Control X, okay? Control X, right? So you don't need to press and hold and apply tension to your muscles there and then X. And you do that all day and you press and hold. That, of course, will feel painful over time. So tap, 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 tap. Okay. And you can do stuff like that. There is also the modification which you can do, which is the home row modifiers. Me, I don't like it, but there are a lot of people who use it. So you can research it. Basically, you have modifiers on the home row. Okay. And you can do something like that. Another thing you can do, regardless of how exactly you map keys, is you can still use HJKL, for example, while you use regular Emacs keys. For example, if you see my keycast, you notice that it says up and down, right and left, and so on. these are not the arrow keys. I am pressing a layer and then HJKL. So these are my arrow keys. But I still use standard Emacs keys. I don't have the modal editing paradigm. So there are a lot of things you can do. The thing is that ergonomics is not about the key bindings themselves. It's about how much tension you apply to your muscles. So make sure use both sides of the keyboard. Don't press and hold for too long in awkward positions. Don't curl your thumb. Don't twist your thumb. Don't do weird things with your pinky, stretching it. Or people do this where they have, for example, the caps lock is, let's say, control on the caps lock. And then they will do everything one handed, like control X, control C, and you do these sorts of weird motions. Your hand will suffer eventually. Don't do that. And of course, I'm speaking from experience, right? So I suffered a lot. Let's see. Hey Prot, what font are you using? So this is a font I have designed. It's called Aporetic. So actually, I have another package, Show Font. So that's one of my packages. Show Font, and then I will select Aporetic. So these are all the Aporetic fonts, okay? So right now I'm using Aporetic Sans Mono here. So let's preview that. And this is, again, as I said, my package for Emacs, Show Font. And yeah, you get Aporetic. This is the idea. And you can preview it and you can get an idea. And what I have here with Show Font actually is for you to be able to see the font in action, like you see it in actual words, and you can make a sense of, okay, for example, jiggly, right? And you can see how consistent it is. And when there is something that stands out, it's because there is a very good reason for it, that sort of thing. Okay. So, Aporetic, you can find it on GitHub. Let's see, where are we? What font are you using? What Emacs version would you recommend as stable but modern? I built off master, but there are a few weird quirks. I always recommend the latest stable version of Emacs. There is no stable and modern kind of thing. It's just stable, the latest stable version. So that would be Emacs 30, I believe 30.2. But anyhow, the latest stable is always what you should use if you want to be as close to, well, the latest, but also stable. Building from source is what I do, but I only recommend that if you are basically going to be developing for Emacs, either packages such as this one or contributing to core Emacs. So then you need to be on top of things to know what is happening in case you need to make changes to your code or to fix something in Emacs, you want to test a new feature, that sort of thing. Somebody asks here, can you hear me? Am I audible? I cannot hear anything, but of course I don't have my earphones on, so I don't know if others can hear you. I don't know even if there is such a thing as being able to be heard in this chat. No, it's a live stream. It's like watching TV with an IRC chat on the side. Okay, that's actually a good analogy. So yes. So I am your news anchor today on this TV show. Let's see. What is this? I guess consistency. I came to the conclusion of aggressively disabling anything evil outside of main text buffers. Okay, they are having a discussion there. So somebody is asking me here, as someone who worked for the EU, what do you think of the current state of the EU? And on the side, are there plans to create new video streams on politics as you did before? I don't have plans to do videos on politics, but maybe. Why not? Why not? The thing with the EU is that it kind of shows, if you observe world affairs, it kind of shows how the EU is much less relevant in global affairs than the Europeans think it is. It's much less relevant. Like the EU basically has no say in what is happening in the war in the Middle East, in Iran, right? What is happening there? The EU has no policy that actually makes sense when it comes to its own energy consumption. Um, the EU wants to have green energy. Fine by me. great idea. Okay, are we producing green energy? The leader of solar panels, for example, is China by a long margin. Electric cars, China. So if we are doing green energy, why is China the global champion? Why aren't we doing all that? Okay, that's the one thing. The second thing is we don't want Russia. And I say we here, not necessarily that I agree, but the European Union. Okay. So we don't want Russia. Russians are bad. Of course, they are fighting this war, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we impose sanctions on Russia. We cut off all tourism from Russia. And countries like Cyprus, for example, suffer greatly from that. And then we are like, okay, we won't import any of the cheap energy that we were getting from Russia. We will get it instead from the Arab countries, so coming from the Strait of Hormuz, and then from our good friend America. And what is America saying? Okay, screw you, and I will be selling you, I will be extorting you and selling you expensive energy. And now I will blockade Hormuz, so you only buy from me. Okay, this kind of policy for the EU makes no sense to me. Like, if you want to be strong and relevant in the world stage, you cannot have it all at once. When you are not in a position of supreme authority, when you are not the big player in the region, you have to pick winners and losers. And now Europe has picked the most losing kind of strategy, the strategy that yields the least and is the most expensive. And then, just to add to this, you have Mark Rutte, who was the prime minister of the Netherlands, who now is the chief of NATO, um, doing that disgraceful thing he did some months ago, where he was calling Trump daddy, right? So daddy is back and that sort of thing. That's really cringe. But it goes to show how Europeans are basically the vassals of the Americans. Okay, yes, daddy. Like, what is that? What is that? I don't like it. So yeah, in principle, just to say this, in principle, I am Europeanist. I like the idea of Europeans working together, of being peaceful towards each other, of having a political union between us. I like all that. Like, I have no problem with all of that. I don't think that the status quo that existed before, like the status quo of the early 20th century, was a good state of affairs. I don't believe that. But the EU has become a bureaucratic, a sclerotic kind of architecture that doesn't move anywhere, and where all the apparatchiks come up with those policies that ultimately lack ambition and lack any kind of long term vision. So yeah, I don't see how we are salvaging this situation from the outside. Like, with people I talk to, Europe really looks like a sinking ship. The EU, not Europe, it looks like a sinking ship. It really looks like that. Like, basically, it's not good at anything other than bureaucracy. On that, we are fantastic. So yeah, let's see. How do you feel about Hellenistic thought and culture infiltrating and changing Middle Eastern religions like Judaism and Christianity? I don't know about Judaism, so I don't know how Hellenistic thought influenced or changed the Judaism, so I have no comment on that whatsoever. Christianity, though, again, I am not an expert on Christianity, but from what I know, fundamentally, Christianity, if we are simplifying now, is basically a messianic Judaic idea blended with Greek philosophy. Simplifying now, but it's really that. Like, there is a lot of thoughts that come from the Greek pre-Christian world that permeate Christianity. And I think Christianity, if you were to decouple Christianity from all that corpus of thought, there wouldn't be much left. It would be like a sect of messianic beliefs. It would be basically a heresy of Judaism, or a sect of Judaism, like that. And I don't mean to say that this is good or bad. I'm just describing how I understand this. Plus, of course, depending on what we are talking about, Christianity has always been adapting to local customs. So Christianity in Greece will not be exactly the same as Christianity in America, for example, or in England or elsewhere, because folklore always matters in the experience of religion. There is this, in my opinion, mistake that people make, which is like, well, have you read such and such? And I'm like, sure, but religion is a lived social experience. It's not books. It's not a body of propositions. So how a culture, how a society experiences religion is specific to that society. And for me, what is interesting is to understand that experience and not just to read books that are aloof from the fray of that social phenomena, of those social phenomena. Let's see. Going back to Emacs versus Vim key bindings, it is a rabbit hole indeed. I am on Colmac and don't rebind. Get used to it, haha. Well, Colmac, okay, because it's not too far away from QWERTY. But if you were to go to something else, then of course, yeah, that would be really bad. Stretching is bad, yes. Stretching and curling, you don't want to do that to your fingers, especially when you do stretching and pressing, right? Or curling and pressing. So yeah, be careful with that. Tapping, for me, tapping is the best. Like tuck, 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 and you don't press and hold. Or when you do press and hold, you don't do it for too long. Hello, Prot. Just curious, did you go through the GNU Emacs manual, or would you recommend Control H question mark? Just your opinion. The manual, yes. Me, I started with a tutorial, Control HT, if you want to get to that. I want to recommend that. I think it's a good place to start. And then, of course, reading the manual always. For me, the manual is the source of truth. Like, it's better to read the manual than to just read random sources online, because the manual is always up to date. If I wrote something, for example, and it's useful, let's say it's useful, it's informative, and all that, I haven't necessarily updated. So if I wrote a blog post in 2020 and you are reading it today, maybe it's not doing you a service, because even though it is the best thing I could ever write, it's still out of date, right? So the manual first, and then complement that with whatever else, like videos, blogs, comments from other people, etc. The EU is enabling states to foreign policy without danger of trade retaliation. That is true, though I think it's overstated, because you see countries like Iceland, for example, you see countries like Norway, which are not in the core of the EU, right? They are not member states, but they still have a lot of leeway in their policies. So, yes, in principle, the EU gives you a block that can bargain as a whole. It gives you basically collective bargaining on the international arena. But the thing is, what are we bargaining for? So that's ultimately the real question. Like, do we have any ambition? Like, what is Europe working towards? Like, what is the big picture? What is the big project we want to have? Like, what is our dream? And how do we go about it? Like, do we have programmatic action? Like, I want to do this and that and that. You see, for example, China, and China has plans for 50 years into the future. And of course, detractors will say stuff like, oh, but China is not a democracy, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense, because the European Union can also do such long term planning. For example, the multi annual financial framework of the EU is on a multi annual basis. So it's not year by year. And it can also have policies that are even longer into the future, because EU policy doesn't change that easily. It's not easy to just change the government of the EU, because you have to redo the treaties, you have to change a lot of things, right? It's not that trivial. So the EU can also do a lot of long-term planning. EU Europe is not even a state. In my humble opinion, it is the worst idea ever. So, of course, I think the idea is not bad, but the implementation matters. Like, even if the idea is a great idea, if you implement it in a way that ultimately doesn't deliver good results, then does it even matter if the idea is good? Like, in the end, you want the results. And you can actually get good results even from bad ideas because you hadn't thought through how bad the idea was. So you actually did something good by mistake. But anyway, folks, we got to all the comments. So let's actually get to the code. So that's good. The good thing is that I don't lose context here. So we are at the point where we want to implement this. So let's go to the Scratch buffer, and I actually have it here. So this is good. So let's come to this. And here we have it. So, of course, as you can tell, I enjoy talking as well. I am happy to answer all your questions. So let's get to this here. So we have the background, and here we have the foreground, and here we have black, and here we have red, and then green, and then yellow, and then blue, and then magenta and cyan, and then we have foreground. Oh, sorry, it shouldn't be. It should be white. White. It should be just white, and then we have black, bright, and then we have. I can actually do red bright, and then green bright, and then yellow. I should have done this with a keyboard macro, but I'm almost there, so okay. Blue bright, and then magenta bright, and then cyan bright, and then white bright. Okay, so we already have a good starting point, folks. Actually, this is already a package. We already have a good starting point, but let's actually do this. So what we will do here is get the theme. So we will have here, let's get the theme. For the application, we want the, wait. So this will get the theme. I want to get the palette eventually. So here we have the theme. Here I'm passing it the palette. Okay, so no problem with this. Let's do an if let. If let here the palette will be modus themes get theme palette palette from the theme. So there you have it. And then if that is wrong, let's say a user error. So the theme with name this does not have a palette. Okay, so let's try it, folks. So let's go to the Scratch buffer. And I will do this first from Lisp, as I was telling you earlier about the difference between calling it interactively and calling it from Lisp. So I will just use feagle now. It's the theme I'm currently using. And for the application, it will be xterm. Wrong number of arguments. So already we have an error. What are the wrong number of arguments? So application, palette, and then application. So here it's the palette, and then here it's the palette. And actually, maybe let me actually write here. Return xterm theme given palette. Okay, let me actually see what was the error in the Scratch. So wrong number of arguments, color and palette. Oh, modus themes retrieve palette value. Retrieve. Okay, so it's this helper function. retrieve palette value, color and palette. What's wrong? Oh, sorry, get color, and I didn't do the palette here. Okay. So for each of those here, so what I want to do is here, do the palette like this. And I think it stops there. Fantastic. Let's go to the scratch. There it is. Symbol void background, because background, there is a typo. No, background. How is it? Of course. Okay, good. Let's see here. Ta-da! And this returns, and I can also preview the colors. So yeah, this is already F eagle. Let's do F summer, because that's pink, so we can have, and yeah, this already works, you see, folks. So this is X term, this is if F eagle, and then of course we could try that for anything else. Let's go back here. So what we want to do here is decide how to present this. So we can have here an optional output. Optional output is how to return the theme for the given application, for the application when called interactively. Output is the prefix argument, which then when called interactively, output is the prefix argument, in which case prompt for a method among the following. So file, or let's say directory, file, I will say file. Select a file to write to, creating it if necessary. Okay, good. So file, buffer, write the theme in a new modus themes export buffer or kill ring. Save the theme to the kill ring. Okay, that's good. So let's go ahead and write this as well. Def var modus themes exporter output prompt history. It will be nil. Mini buffer history for the modus themes exporter output prompt. Okay, that's good. And here we have the history. So let's go ahead and implement the prompt as well. So prompt for an output per the modus themes exporter export. Okay, so we can have here, let the default be the car of this history, not this history, but this history. Okay, and then completing read, which will be interned, by the way. So there is that. And then select export, select output method. Oh, and here we have a nice one because I will now do also some completion metadata. So that's good. I haven't done that in a while. Format prompt. And here we want to use the default. And we want to have here, what was it? It was file buffer. Actually, I will change it now. So modus-themes-exporter output types, and then nil true, and then initial input and the history. Okay, so that's good. So let's take this, and here we want to do when current prefix arg, and we want to have that, and of course we want to have this in parentheses. So if we get that, then we will have here when output. Oh, sorry, let's actually do here. Actually, the output should not be optional because, of course, we don't want to default to something. Or actually, it will be optional. The default will be buffer, I think. So let's have here the result. So when output, and then modus themes exporter, output result, the result. Okay, and then of course this, we will implement it here. So let's have this here, we will implement it, but before I implement this, I want to come here very quickly. And here, let's do this, which will be file buffer kill ring, and then types of output supported by modus themes exporter export. Okay, that's a good. So we have the types. A helicopter is flying by. I don't know if you can hear it. So we will have here the result using the output. So we want to have when output. So we want to have that. Actually, if output. Otherwise, we want to do buffer. This I haven't thought about, but we will see. Okay, this is the idea. Let's now see here, pcase. Pcase the output, and we have buffer. And we want to implement, oh, sorry, I don't want that. Modus themes exporter output buffer, the result. And this is a helper function. So we have that, and then error, the output here is unknown, the output, like that, good. And of course, here we want to have now this, which is file, and then this, which is kill ring. Okay, so let's go and implement those functions. Let's actually write the documentation here. Put the result, use output to present the result. Okay. Output is a member of the result is a string representing the theme of an application. Yeah, let's see. That's good. Okay, so now let's go and implement this. So define this given the result. Of course, here I call it result, but it could be called theme actually. So or it could be a string, actually. I like the idea of string. String is the theme of a target application. Okay, like of a supported. Though here we don't actually check for this, but that's fine. So we don't check because this has to be private. So let's actually have that. We would need to check if this was public, right? And then we would want to ensure that we are actually doing the right thing. But for now, this is private. So put string in a bespoke buffer and display it. Okay, so that's good. So let the buffer get buffer create, and then modus-themes-exporter, like that. And then with current buffer, the buffer, in case the buffer already has text, just erase it, and then insert the string. That's very simple. And then, of course, once we do that, display buffer, the buffer. And then here we can also have an action A list. So we could have that, but I'm not sure I want to give an option here. But I will say maybe we can add a user option for an action A list. But for now, this is not needed. Okay, so we have that. So this will do the right thing. Of course, we could throw an error if the string is not a string, but insert will do that also, so this is fine. Plus, this is a helper function. So output file should take a file and a string. So actually, let me implement that last. So let's do the kill ring, which should also be straightforward. So defun like that to the string, and then put the string to the kill ring. Actually, I will say add. And here I will say insert. Okay, that's good. So actually, this is pretty straightforward. Kill new the string. Yeah, maybe we don't need a function for this, but it's good to have it as a function because we might change it. So then that, and then file and string. Write to file the string. And this is also very easy. So let the file find file, no select. Actually, this is the buffer. It's not the file. Let the clumsy. Let the buffer, and then with the current buffer, the buffer. And then in case, of course, erase a buffer, and then insert the string. Actually, I could have been smarter and basically do this with the addition of saving, but yeah, maybe I can do that. I will have to think, but this is fine. This is fine. Insert string and then save buffer and then display buffer. So definitely I can actually do this. So let me actually have it to do. This can be, can reuse the output for the buffer, but we need to actually I will do it now. I won't delay this. So I will do this now. So it will actually do this prog1 buffer and then just return this. Oh no, don't go away. Let's do it like this. Okay, so I want to return buffer, so the buffer we operated in. So that would be nice. So let me think. But this has so let's do optional buffer. Okay, so here or buffer. Okay, so with current buffer, the buffer, erase, insert string. Okay, display the buffer. Okay, I like this idea. So what we do now here is, wait, go here, output buffer, in the buffer, the string, it's the other way around, uh, like that, and then with current buffer, or actually I can do save buffer the buffer. Does it give me the option? Save buffer? No, it doesn't give me the option. Okay, no problem, no problem. With current buffer, the buffer, save buffer. Okay, so this already looks good. Let's actually now implement the completion metadata. So let's actually do the completion metadata, folks. For the output types here, where is it? This prompt. Let's evaluate here. So this prompt doesn't give me any explanation. So I want basically docstrings. So let's go. Let's go and see. By the way, the chat has been quiet. So of course, this means that I actually code instead of talking about politics or Vim and key bindings on keyboards and all the other things in between. There was some point about Hellenistic thought and religiosity and so on, which of course is very nice. I have no problem with that. So we want to return a completion table, but completion metadata get, I think it's called, completion table. Of course, I will use one of my own functions. So actually, let me go ahead and use it because Emacs has this built in, but it's for a newer version of Emacs, and I don't want this to depend on a very new version of Emacs. So modus-themes-exporter get completion table, the candidates, and the rest metadata. Okay, that's very good. So let's have this. Of course, this, folks, we don't need to know what this is. You just use it like this. This is basically for the completions, okay? What we want to do here is put this here, and then the metadata, I will write it here, metadata, okay? That's good. And the metadata is of the form, let's have it here. It's an A-list def var. And here we have what I want is called, I forget how it's called. It's okay, let's do completion metadata. Category annotation function, that's what I want. So category, we don't have a category. So I will have just there, and then annotation function, and it's of course modus themes exporter output annotate metadata completion metadata for this, okay, and this we want, so it takes a candidate or a string, actually it takes a string, so annotate string. So I can do pcase or I can do cond. Let's do pcase. So if the pcase string, if it is empty or nil, or actually, how do we do it here? Or pred null. spread null, I think. I don't even remember if this is valid. We will check. If this is nil, then don't return anything. If it is the string is file, we will return something for file. Write to file and display its buffer. If it is buffer, write to a buffer and display it. And this I want to be the default, and then kill ring, save to the kill ring. Okay, that's already good. So I think the annotation is done like that, but no, it's not done like this. So this is wrong. It has to be like this. Format the string, and then we can have it like this for now, and then I will fix it. So the string is the string here, and this is the result. But let me actually try this. So let's go to the scratch. So we are here. I want to say, for example, file is the string. Okay, that's good. If I now do the empty string, that's great. And if I say nil, nil, sorry. Okay, that's the string nil. Okay, that's fine. We accept it, even though the string will not be nil. But let's have it. Actually, I think this is not relevant. It should be just this. Okay, so, okay, let's actually see if this works. And if that works, then I will change this. Let's actually call this prompt and now see where we are. Here, folks, here. No, it didn't work because, why? This returns what? The completion metadata, annotation function. Okay, let me actually go to denote 1 second to see what we are doing with the metadata. Metadata. Of course, I say what we are doing. Well, I write. So here, okay, it's a const cell. It's a list. Yeah, it's a list of const cells. That's what I'm doing. And how am I using this? It's the same. Oh, why do I need the apply here? Do I have the apply for everything? No. Okay. Okay, this looks right. That's basically what I'm doing. Oh, this is one. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, go away now. What happened? Why? Did my keys get stuck? Oh. Oh, come on. Oh, okay, I'm typing the wrong key. Sorry. Okay, the metadata, that's why. Because here I wrote a list, whereas here this table accepts a rest metadata. So I have to be passing it each const cell separately. So because I don't need the completion category now, but I will do it like this, apply this. Okay, so this will work. So let's go and check this out, folks. Here is the annotation. Okay, so we don't actually need the format that I was doing here. So what we want is just that. Okay, so actually I should bring this somewhere closer so I can be testing it. So these are the annotations, so that's good. So now let's do something with them here. Instead of having that, let's have one space. And here we will have propertize a space with display, and then I forget exactly how we do it, but maybe it's like this. Align to maybe 10. Does that the right thing? I think this is the right thing. Let's see. I don't know. So let me now call this. No, that's not the right thing. Or maybe it is, but let's do 40 for now. No, it's not the right thing, but I know somewhere where I have written this not too long ago. So let's see the align. It's space align to. Okay, no problem, no stress. So of course, this you learn by reading the documentation, but now I know where to search for it, so I don't need to go searching in the documentation where I do not know how long it would take me. So yeah, there it is. We already have a completion annotation. That's very good. Write to a file and display its buffer. Write to a buffer and display it. Save to the kill ring. So this is already good. Okay, I like this. So let's go and see now where we are, folks. Let's actually, okay, so the output here will be optional. If output is not specified, default to buffer, as noted above. As, yeah, noted above. Okay, that's good. I think I saw something in the chat, so let me check the chat, and then, of course, we will test this, folks. So already you see how the package is taking form. It's looking very good already. Hello from Brazil. I started to use Emacs these days, and I'm learning too much in your video channel. Thanks. You're welcome, and good luck. Emacs has a steep learning curve, but if you commit to it, I think you will have fun and you will enjoy it. Can I ask if anyone knows how to quickly copy the relative file path from the buffer you are on? I swear I used to know a key binding with project.el for it. I don't know if project.el has this actually, maybe it does, but me, I have a function that I wrote, which is for the absolute path. But taking the absolute path, actually, let's take this function and do it very quickly. Taking the absolute path is very easy. So here, it takes the buffer file name, okay? Or the default directory. Actually, I made it work also for buffers that don't have a file name. So for example, here it will return the default directory. So let's do, for the sake of the demo here, let's associate this buffer file name. So file name. So buffer file name is local, but I want to be explicit here. So let's say that this is test.dl. Okay. So if I now call my function, it says copied test.dl, tmp test.dl. It copied it, okay? So now, of course, I wanted to make it relative, right? So let's say that it is, okay, no, actually it's good. So I have it like this. So the path is that, and then I can say something like relative. So relative, so file name base, the path. And here I will put relative and relative. Relative. Okay, let's now do the same check. Copied test, you see? So just like that. I don't know if you want me to copy this into the chat, but maybe you can see it. You can also find it in my configuration. So I don't know if project.el has this, but you see how it is. Maybe you can take a screenshot of this. Maybe it's easier, and you can take it from there, right? But basically the point with Emacs, and that's a very general thing, is that when you think that something should exist, if you cannot find it, you can try to implement it. Of course, if you don't know eLisp, this is a good opportunity to actually start learning because you have something concrete to work towards. And this is how I learned actually Emacs Lisp. So I would basically be like, okay, I want to do this. How do I do it? And I was like, okay, let me read the documentation. Let me try to understand it. And basically started playing around and I found it. So yeah, let's get back. Let's get back to the code here, folks, because the package is already in a very good shape. So let's go to the test we had earlier here. So actually, let me delete a few things. So let's actually delete. Okay, so we are here. I will evaluate, and now it has produced a buffer with my X term for fsummer, and actually enabled in the current buffer, but of course this is fundamental mode. So let me do something like prog mode. Would it work? Prog mode. Okay. here. Okay, so this is F summer. Okay. If I now go and change this to, let's do F orange, evaluate, there is F orange. Let's do F fig, a dark theme. Oh no, F fig palette. Maybe it's not called F fig. How do I call it? I forgot. Is it not? It's F fig, really? Yeah. Huh. Okay, I will need to see why that was an error. Let's go to another theme. So if I do F fig now, it works. If I do winter, for example, okay, so I have another issue going on, which is with my themes not being loaded. Okay, that's not related to this package though. Okay, let me do modus operandi. Modus operandi. Okay. Actually, I can specify here a file. So, of course, if the output is a file, we have to be a bit more smart here. Okay, go away. So here, actually, let me switch to another theme. Let's actually switch to a dark theme for now. So I will go ahead and do. I haven't picked a dark theme from here in a long time. So, Melissa, yeah, why not? Melissa dark, so that's fine. Okay, so what we want here is to be a bit smarter with the output, because if the output, let's do cond. So file, no, I cannot say file exists p. I will say if the output is a string, which is a file, right? String p, the output. I cannot say file. Yeah, if it's a string p, no, that's fine. I will say like this. So if it is string p, I want this to be file. If the output is output, I want this to be output. No, this is not right. Shouldn't be file. This should be the output. No, wait, folks. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. It's not here. This is good. This was good. So here it's good. It's here where I want to be smarter. So if the output is a string or file and then red string p, right? So here of course it's wrong what I wrote here, right? So if it is file, then it's the output. Okay, so that's good. Well, if it's string output, so here, of course, find file, no, select the file. So yeah, here I have to refine it. This is not right. It cannot work like this. If it is a file, of course, it's different. So here, so this, I have to think how best to implement this, because here, if it is a file, it should prompt for the file. So here, so we have an output here. So if that is a file, I want to do another prompt. So let's have here, let the output. And then if the output, wait, this returns a symbol. Okay, so if the output is a file, then what I want to do is I will have another function, read file name. Read file name, select file to write to. Okay, so there is that. And then I want to have a history. What is this? Dear? No, don't. Is there a history? Oh, there is no history? Oh, come on. Okay, so like this. Okay, read file name, that's fine. Otherwise, just return the out. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So we close it there. So if the output exists, just use the output. So let's go here. So the output will be actually a file. So string p, sorry, pred string p. So predicate string p, then we use that there, and then of course it's the file what we got. Okay, the output is unknown. Okay, that's fine. Actually, I can have here another check file, which is also an error. The file output should be represented as a file path. Okay, my dogs are barking at something, I don't know. So maybe there is some hunter who is driving to the mountain to train the dogs or something. Okay, so this is good. Let's go and check now. Let's evaluate and let's go to the scratch here. And now I will provide a buffer, which will be tmp new example dot txt. So let's do that. It did this. Here is the template, and let's see new example dot txt. So it wrote it. Brilliant. So yeah, that's good. That's good. So that works. Of course, I will need to write tests for all this, but this already works, folks. They are evaluating your real list, but that's why you are barking. They are barking. Yeah, of course, of course. So let's see where we are. So actually, everything works, I think. I tried all the cases. Did I try for the kill ring? I didn't try for the kill ring, which we will do now. And then, of course, I have to do all this interactively. Kill ring. And it says nil. So here it is. Of course, if it says nil, I wanted to actually be a little bit more considerate. Here, so the kill ring, this one here, I want to do that, and then message saved theme to the. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we don't have the theme at that point anymore, and I don't want to retain that information. Actually, it's not relevant. Let's delete this, and let's come here, save theme to the kill ring. So that's good. I can try it with another theme. Let's have F Maris Dark, for example. Yeah, what happened? Why aren't my themes loaded? So I did something and my themes are not loaded. So let me do, sorry, Maris Dark. Okay, so now it worked. Okay. So yeah, this is the idea, folks. The package works. Let's actually try it. Modus themes export. Okay, so we pick a theme. So I will pick a theme also to check if it loads it, the theme that I haven't loaded yet. So yeah, let's do F Cypress. Select the target application, Xterm. So of course it doesn't work, okay. But that's not, it's something I have done on my end. So let's use Maris Dark. Xterm, so that prints the buffer. This is good. Let's actually do Control U, Emacs, and this. Again, let's pick Maris, let's pick Xterm, select output method. So file, now select the file. This is brilliant. So Maris is here. Actually, Maris Dark. So it's here. .txt. There it is, folks. Bam, bam. And this is in the TMP. So that's already great. Of course, let's come here. So let me continue with the test. Scratch. Where is the scratch? Oh, I killed the scratch buffer. Oh my goodness. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But because of course I'm doing this interactively. So let's do Control U, MX like that, Maris, Xterm, and now let's do kill ring. Saved to the kill ring. Let's go. Actually, let me save something else to the kill ring. I save that. And now I will do this again. Maris, Xterm, and then kill ring. Okay, let's go and create the scratch. Here, paste. Okay, it works. That's brilliant. And let's do the buffer explicitly now, even though it's not needed because it's the default. Let's do buffer. So there is the buffer. Okay, that works. So basically what we need from now on is just more templates. More templates. And then, of course, they get the entire palette. So what they do with that palette is really up to the function. So I like this better. So I will actually do this for URXVT as well, because actually it's the same. So it's there has to be a smart way for me to actually do this without changing everything. But it's okay, it doesn't matter. Let's actually have it here. So here where we say X term, it's URXVT. Okay, good. So let's actually try that for the sake of completeness. We have that. Oh, so let's go to the applications. I never evaluated this. Let's do that. So Maris, URXVT. So let's do the buffer. There is URXVT. So that's great, folks. So this works. I wrote the package. Of course, I need to write tests and stuff, so I can do that now. But this already works. Then what we need to do is write more templates, basically. And as I said, each template will be doing the equivalent of this. And maybe in the future, if there are patterns, we can have like a macro. Like for those two, the URXVT and the Xterm, I can write a macro already. So I will do that. Def macro. So modus themes exporter, define X resources for the application. So define a function that is of the X resources type for application. So basically we will take what we have here. I can have this whole thing. Okay, so we have that. And let's think. So here we have to have intern, of course, not like this. It has to be here, intern, format, and then it will be, oh, not this. It will be the modus themes exporter. I forgot how I was calling the function. Get, and then the application. Okay, so that's good. So that's already good. Format, return, and then Xterm theme given palette. So that's good. And here we have to be a little bit more smart. Yeah, it's a pity that I have to do this here, but that's fine, not a big deal. So I have to think how best to implement this. Normally, I don't want to do concat and then format, but here it makes sense because it's easier to read. So I will do it like this. So let's do a macro. So we go to the beginning, format, and then it is the application, and then the rest here. Like that. Okay. So I will evaluate, and then modus-themes-exporter define blah 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 for xterm, and I will evaluate this already for format string. What I did wrong? Format here, of course, for the application. Okay, let's evaluate. And this will be the function for xterm. I will test it, of course, but it should be the same thing. Concat xterm, blah, 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 the background, and so on. And then, of course, urxvt. Xvt. Oh, sorry. Like that. Like that. This is very nice. Of course, these could be interactive, as was suggested earlier in the chat, which would be very easy to do. We just would do the interactive. But for now, I don't want them interactive. Let's keep it small now, and then we will see. Let's see where we are in the chat. Sounds like approval to me. Yeah, the dog's barking. Yeah, so that's brilliant. Very good. Forgive me for an unrelated question. I'm trying to use a symbol to set the font height in Fontaine, but it gives me an error message that the symbol is not an integer. It is. Well, of course, a symbol and an integer are not the same thing. So maybe it would be easier if you sent me the code you're trying to evaluate, and it would be easier for me to see what you are doing. Let's see. If the file exists, do you want an exception or just append the text? The way I did it right now actually is to delete the file. So maybe we should have a yes or no prompt that the file exists. So let's actually do that. Output file. So here, let's do this. When and file exists p exists file exists p, the file. So when that exists, so we will say yes or no p. File exists, overwrite it like this. Let me see. Overwrite it, yes or no. Okay, so if file doesn't exist, then we are okay. I think conceptually this is good, but let me actually try this in the scratch. So we have this sort of thing. So let's say that bash rc, of course, exists. Okay, like this. So, and then we will do stuff. Okay. Let's see, file exists p overwritten? No. Okay, so file exists p overwritten? Yes. Okay, so what if the file doesn't exist? So this file doesn't exist. Okay, it just returns nil. That's wrong. Because I want if so that would be nil, and then or string p, or actually I want that basically. Yeah. Maybe there is a better way to write this though. I don't like this or with a T. I don't like this. Like, of course it works, but I don't like it. Maybe it could be. No, it's fine. You know what? It's fine. It's totally okay. It could be a little bit different, but it's totally okay. It's fine. Let's have it like this. So, do I need something else? Let's evaluate and then let's try again. So Mar is dark. So let's pick urxvt, which is part of the macro now. That just worked. So that's good. Let's actually do the thing with the file to a file that already exists. So I want to do for urxvt. Actually, you know what? I will do now for xterm because I want to make sure that the fact that I converted it into a macro works. Let's try a file. Actually, let's go and do the last file that was like that. Oh no, it didn't prompt me. That's not good. Because the file didn't exist. Okay, so that's correct. I deleted it earlier. Okay, so now the file exists. So let's see. Xterm, select the file. Select the file to write to. File exists. Overwrite it. Yes or no? I will say no. So what did it do? Of course, if you say no, that's not right. This is not right. So I have to change this because this or now doesn't work. It goes ahead and does it. So we will say let I'm not sure how best to express this without writing the code twice. So we have a scenario where the file doesn't exist. So if the file exists, of course I can do this. Let's do it like this. Let common fn. So lambda of file and string. So if the file exists, and then of course if you do this, then fun call. Actually, I want it in both cases, right? So this I don't like. This is not good code. File and string, because in both cases I want it to happen, but in the other case I just want it to happen conditionally. Yeah, probably I can write this better, but I cannot think of a better way. So let's see. This should work, of course, but let's try Emacs. Let's do this. Maris, xterm, file, here. File exists. Overwrite it. I will say no. So it did overwrite it still. So that's not good, because of course if you say no, it should stop here. It shouldn't go to the next one. So we have to decouple these. So if that, when this, okay, now it makes sense. If that, when this, otherwise that. Let's see. Okay, so that's good. Let's do it like this. Of course, I could do it a little bit differently. So I will do it a little bit differently, where I could do a catch or throw. I don't know if it's actually more effective. I don't like this idea of a lambda for something like this. So, okay. So the idea is we do the thing once, okay? Here. So we have that. If the file exists, let's do a catch exit early. Okay. So if the file exists, so I will say here unless when true, overwrite it continues. So I will say unless throw exit early true. Okay, so I can say here when. So basically exit early, otherwise don't exit. Like this. So let's see now. Oh, clumsy. More clumsy. Even more clumsy. Let's see. Dark, and then, by the way, select target application. 1 second. Application prompt doesn't use a default. Why is it not showing me the default? Format prompt default. I'm pretty sure it's not showing me a default. Is this empty? How is this empty? Oh, because I wrote the wrong history here. Okay, good. So let's do Emacs here. This, let's pick xterm. Select input method file. That's the default. Good. Let's pick the file. File exists. Overwrite it. No, and it should just return nil, basically. Okay, nil. So of course that's good. Let's go find the catch. and throw, and we will say message aborting. Maybe it can be like this. Okay, let's try that, this, that, up. That's why I wanted to have a default for file. Select output method file. Here, overwrite it nil, aborting. Okay, will not write to file. Will not write to file the file. Okay, good. So I saw somewhere where there is the output prompt here, which should not allow me to input empty. Require much. Okay. So 1 second. I did this earlier and it returned this. This is wrong. It shouldn't accept empty. Why does it accept that? So maybe because of this? No. Okay, I'm not sure why, but we can add a fix me. This is not important right now. Why does this? Sorry, I know why. I know why, folks. Here, because I haven't given it the default. So that's the history and the default is here. Okay. So if I do file, that's file. Okay, that's very good. So yeah, this is very good. Let's see the chat. Hello, Prod. Hello, everybody. I'm really enjoying the live streams. Thank you, Prod, for all your work. You're welcome. You're welcome. So if you have not watched this live stream from the beginning, basically I am creating a new package from scratch. And I think the package is complete already. And basically now it's a matter of writing more templates for it. And otherwise this would be ready to go. So what I would do now is I would write some tests. And I think that will be enough for this session of this package. Actually, let's fix this first of all. So we have a version here. Yeah, because it's from modus. Here, modus themes 5.2.0. Okay, this file is not part of GNU Emacs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can write the manual later. This is not important right now. So export modus theme to another application. The idea is to write a color scheme for a terminal emulator or some other program. The point of entry is the command modus themes exporter export. Read its documentation to learn more about how it works. Okay, supported target applications are listed in the variable with the most obvious name. Okay. More templates can be added based on demand. So do contact me. Okay, that's good. Let's see. What else do we have? More things going on in the chat. Let's see. That's actually a much needed use case for me. I have several of your Doric and Def color schemes adapted for the Kitty terminal. Okay, so that's good. Um, Unfortunately, Doric is not built on top of Modus because it's really different in terms of how it is designed. So this doesn't work with Doric. But yeah, eventually it wouldn't be too difficult to adapt it because fundamentally the only thing we use from modus, well, of course, actually what I'm saying is wrong because here we assume the modus template. So even though we use a very little part of modus, the template is basically a hard-coded assumption. And the reason for that is that Doric doesn't have all these colors. Like Doric doesn't implement like 16 colors. So it wouldn't work really here. So yeah, there is that. Maybe if you for Doric you can just do the Doric themes with colors macro and just get it from there. Let's see here. I guess this could allow to programmatically change the color scheme in sync with the Emacs themes. That would be fantastic. That's entirely possible because that's of course up to you to script it, right? Because I don't know what applications you are using. But for example, if you see my screen right now, I will just change the theme of everything, okay? So I will just do something to switch to a light theme. And you will notice that it switched to a light Emacs theme. Here above, it's also light. I don't know why the chat is always dark. Maybe it's like that hard coded. But the Chrome window here is definitely light now. This is modus operandi, by the way. So I can switch back to dark, right? And the point is that this should work. Like it would really be up to you to basically have a function that switches your Emacs theme and then programmatically, and that's why I also enable for programmatic usage. Programmatically would do something like this, right? Well, it would be like modus themes exporter, and then it would be the theme, and then sorry, exporter export. So it would be the theme for the application, for example, let's say Xterm, okay? So this would be part of your script, this kind of thing. And if your script is a shell script, you will do Emacs client -e to evaluate the equivalent of this. So that would be the idea. I also do the switch using darkman.el, but the theme for your DE is generated on the fly. Yeah, I don't know Darkman. What is Darkman? Darkman, let's read. Darkman.el provides seamless integration between Darkman and Emacs. So Darkman is something else, right? So there is a thing called Darkman, right? So I don't know what that is. Of course, I won't go down and check right now, but maybe you can tell me. I think all themes have ANSI color names vector, so maybe you could do it with that for other themes. Yes, that's a good point. You could do it for those, but the idea with this is that this is not limited to 16 colors. So the idea with this, of course, now it's Xterm, so Xterm is kind of 16 colors, even though actually here I have given 18, so it's not really the same. But the point is that there is no reason why this is 16. Like here we expose the entire palette. So if you want to have a theme with 200 colors, you can actually do that as a fallback. So yeah, that's a very good point. Yes. On window managers, yes. So you would want to automate between dark and light. Yeah. Of course. Like all that is entirely possible. I do it already, but it's a matter of how you want to glue together the relevant functionality. So it's really up to you. So yeah, let's see, folks. I have been streaming for about 2 hours, and I wrote this package in less than 2 hours because, of course, we spent also a lot of time talking. So that's already good. Of course, it's not a complete package. This is the proof of concept. This is the prototype. It works. What I want to do now is write some tests, and then we can call it a day. So let's go ahead and do this. So here it is. Of course, I don't have any user option, so I don't need to define a group for now. But we will see. Let's come here. Modus themes. Actually, let's write a README first. README.md. So modus themes exporter. Export modus themes or derivative like the f themes and the standard themes to other applications. The idea is to have the colors that Emacs uses be applied to your terminal emulator or other text editor. Of course, here I should say or lesser text editor, but I will be polite. With the two backticks, there is a typo with the two backticks. I don't see it. Two backticks. Where is it? Of course, maybe you wrote the comment earlier and I fixed the typo, or yeah. Anyway, if there is a typo, don't worry. Like me, or maybe not. Yeah, okay. Nobody knows. It's Markdown. Yeah. So this is Markdown. Yeah, so it's not a typo. It's like that. So the idea is to have the colors that Emacs uses be applied. To make this work, call the command modus-themes-exporter export. In interactive use, it prompts for a modus theme. Yeah. And then for the application to export to. Supported applications are listed in the value of the variable. Let's go pick that variable again, because this is like a big one. And then, of course, folks, you will see it here live. I will have to write a backronym now for this thing, which I haven't thought about, but we will do it together, so no problem. Of course, I will do it. I don't want you to tell me, because that's cheating. So supported applications. I am happy to add support for more programs. Just let me know. Okay, so here we have a Git repository. Actually, let me see how I do. For example, I did recently the GNOME thing switcher. Let me actually say how I write the. Oh, I don't have it here. Oh no, I didn't write a backronym for this. This is a disaster. Okay, so no worries. I will write it here. So what we want here is init ensure. No, there is no ensure. Actually, ensure nil. Do not try to install, because we get it from source in the init. And then this is modus themes exporter. Okay, there are no bindings for this, and there is no configuration for this, and we can have a commands section here just for discoverability. And the commands here is, of course, in the future I may have more commands. So modus themes exporter export like that. This is good. So the Git repository, of course, will be this here, like this. Let me see. I have packages that have recently official manual Git repository. Okay, I have. Okay, this is the sort of thing I was looking for. So of course we don't have a manual right now. Git repository. Okay, so I just call it Git repository. I just want to name them consistently. That's the idea. Themes exporter. There is no screenshot. Okay, so now comes the moment of truth, folks. So the backronym or the backronyms. So I will write that. I will not look at the chat, but first let me see if there is anything there. Um, let me see. Okay, so something about the quotes, the typos using Markdown instead of org. Um, I use Markdown for the README and then org for the manual, actually. So I do this with all the packages I write. So the README is because like every forge can render it, or it can render anywhere, whereas org it's really to generate the manual. Okay, so let's do a backronym, folks. So we have modus. I cannot type modus anymore. Modus themes and then exporter. So modus themes, I have already done the modus, which is I have done it in the past. My old display unexpectedly sharpened, which is, of course, a play on the fact that if you enable a really intense theme and you are using an old display, you will see the colors better. And this is actually a real thing. Um, so themes, I was doing it like just themes. So I don't want to do that. I just want to focus on the exporter for now. So I can come back to themes. So exporter. Okay, it's a tricky word. So I could say X is the difficult one. Essentially, let's see. X term ports and then R. Require trivial eLisp. No, I don't like eLisp. Requirements. No, we have require. Trivial eLisp. No. There are two R's there which I don't like. So this I don't like this direction. So export. Let's do this. Export. Xenotropically. Let's have a word like this. And then, of course, xenotropic. Xenotropic means foreign mode of being. Okay? So, xenotropic. So, I like this. I will use this for sure. So, export xenotropically. Let's see. Xenotropically. Pre-configured. Pre-configured. This is tricky. Pre-configured only. Pre-configured overall. Wait, let me delete this 1 second because I don't see the letters all the time. I want this. So pre-configured. Let me think. ORTER. Okay, export xenotropically pre-configured. Is this a word that like this rings a bell? Like this is a word like orifice. I think that is orifice. Let me see. No, I'm thinking of something else. Ornaments. I don't like ornaments. Pre-configured, orderly rendered. Terminal emulator renditions. Okay, this passes the test, but it's not too good. I don't like it yet. I don't want to check the chat, folks, because I don't want to cheat. So I will continue again. I like the export. I like the xenotropically because it's pretentious. Xenotropically ported. Um, no, let's see here. No, I don't like. I don't like the ported here. It doesn't fit. Xenotropically. Let's see. Let's see. Because it's tricky. It's tricky to get a good backronym, folks. But this one is already acceptable. So I will write this and then I will continue because I think I can think of a better one. Modus themes, and then let's put this thing here. So there. Export xenotropically preconfigured, orderly rendered terminal emulator renditions. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's pretentious. It's mysterious. It gets the people going. I think it's good. Export xenotropically prescribed. I forget every word with O now, and I cannot think. So let's see. Prescribed xenotropically prescribed. Um, um, Of course, I can think of like oscillations. That makes no sense in this context. Okay, let's actually leave it at this. And I cannot think of something belonging to O. That's the problem now. So, okay, but actually, no. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's leave the O behind. But the O is important for me to think of the next words, actually. Um, okay, remarkably truthful. Experts in tropically prescribed, remarkably truthful, and then E. Um, okay, let's leave this. Let's leave this because this can take more than writing the entire package. Let's see. Let's see. Outlandish renderings. Yeah, that's good. Omni something. Omni is also good. I like the idea with Omni actually. Now, of course, I'm cheating, so I cannot use Omni just because of that. But Omni would work because it's basically towards everybody. Pre-configured, but then of course you would want to say Omni. You could say something like omnidirectional or erga omnes if you want to be really pretentious. No, let's leave this. Let's leave this as it is. But this works. So modus themes, export, xenotropically pre-configured, orderly rendered terminal emulator renditions. Of course, it's orderly rendered terminal emulator rendition. This is not right. So it should be something like orderly. I don't want to say refurnished because that would be terminal emulator reifications. Okay, so reifications. Yeah. This wins it. This wins it. This is really pretentious. I love it. Okay, let's go write some tests, folks, because we have been dithering here. So modus themes exporter tests.dl. And of course, I will just go to one of my packages. Actually, let's go to the modus themes. No, actually, let's pick the node, which has more tests. Let's pick the node, and I just want, actually, give it all to me now. Here. Okay, so we want here, of course, I require ERT. That's essential. And we want here, wherever it says denote test, it should be modus themes exporter test. And here it should be M. Okay, just M because the rest is really long. Maybe it should be like that. But actually, no, it should be like this because this is how I have seen it before, and I want to keep it like this. Tests for the modus themes exporter. Note that we are using shortcuts in this file, so the M prefix really is modus themes exporter test. Evaluate the following to learn more. Yes, I have talked about this in previous streams, folks, but basically when you see something like this, Control X, Control E, it takes you to the manual right away. So here we will come and we will write some tests. So we are here. This is me. Unit test for the modus themes exporter. This file is not part of GNU Emacs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we are good. Let's go and write something. Okay, so we want to do, actually, the other day I wrote a nice macro for the modus themes. I actually did that also live in the stream. And then I got a patch for it, and then I made some further tweaks to it. So this is good. We will actually use this. So M here, M define test. So if you don't know what this is, I wrote it in the last live stream I did. So it was about the writing tests for the modus themes. Basically, the idea is for me to write tests a little bit easily. So M define test. So let's see which function we will do first. But actually, folks, because there are people who don't know about tests, I will not be too smart right now. So I will remove this and then I will do it later myself. So ERT dev test. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. So I want to start testing things. The prompts I don't really need to test. So get color for palette. Okay, that's covered by the modus themes. I don't want to check that. This is what we want to test first. So here, test that does the right thing. Okay. So no, sorry, this is the macro. I don't need the macro. What I want is the thing here. Sorry. So what I want is this. So let the palette. So we will get to that. Of course, here we have to require the modus themes exporter. Okay. So we have that with the palette. Let the result be that. So here we will do that. Let's see, how do we get the palette now? Get palette. Modus themes get palette. For let's do modus operandi. Okay, so we have that. Actually, I will do here modus operandi. Let's do xterm. Let's do buffer. Actually, I could have done kill ring. So yeah, you see, I forgot already. So we have the result, and then should. Of course, this is one big string. String equal the result to that. It's not a really good test though, but it's fine. It's okay. Like, um, should not. Um, so the result should not be nil. Should not. Of course, the palette. No. Let me see. Let me. It should do an error. Like if this thing. Let's go to the macro 1 second here. So this thing doesn't produce an error. It just takes the palette and runs with it. So if the palette is nil, it should at least say that. But it's not its responsibility. I don't want every package like that to be responsible for error handling. I want a function that does that. So let's do the get palette. Actually, does this return an error? So if I do something like unknown theme, that just returns nil. Okay. So I want a function that is smarter. So let's. No, I actually don't need it. But let's have a here. Should not be empty, the palette. Because if the palette is empty, of course, this one should not proceed. So actually, I do want that. Should not palette empty, should not the result be empty. The result be empty. So already this. But let me go now to here. And let's go to the macro. So here we have unless palette error, palette cannot be nil. Okay, it's not a great check, but it works. Alternatively, I could do a when let. Let's actually be here. Let's do a when let here. So in the case where something, oh wait, no. A when let doesn't work because this could be nil. So that's not good. So let's do it the way it was before. Okay. So yeah, like this, and then we also have an error to check. So if the palette is nil, should error. If let's see. Here, of course, we call it with a palette. So I don't want the result there. Let the palette. So here, let this be equal to that. Let's remove here. So let the palette be that. Should error if this is nil. That should error. Basically, that should error. It should error if it is also an empty string. It should error. Well, actually, there are many scenarios it should error. It should error if it doesn't find the colors. But actually, for the colors, I will be like, okay, just print nil, and then the user will get something there. No, actually, we don't need to check for it. Okay, like that. It will be like that. We control for it. If there is anything else, it will not work because a list will produce an error. Let's do mxert. Okay, it failed because, of course, yeah, because of course here I have literal blanks. So let's do that. Oh no, did I evaluate? Okay, still error. First mismatch. Yeah, it's a pain, of course, to go and do this with strings. They have a difference of 1 because, of course, this here. Yes, okay, that passes the test. So yeah, that's good. And we could do the same for a dark theme, but I don't think it's necessary. This is basically enough for us to make sure this works. For URXVT, it should be the same. The same test works for anything that is derived from the macro modus-themes-exporter define blah 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 x resources. Like that. Okay, that's good. Let's continue. Of course, here when we say get color, again, that's modus responsible. So I will let that because, of course, I have to fix it in modus if there is a problem. Get theme. Okay, so we have a good one here. Here, ERT def test, and then it is M, and then that. And one second, let me delete the theme, the test, so that M is rendered differently. Okay, like this. Because now the shorthand has been read, so you see it's M is different, so you can tell it's a shorthand. Okay, so let's have this. Should error if you call this with, for example, X term and nil. It should also error if you call this with unknown application here, and then here I want to actually have a palette, so let's have the palette. Let the palette, oh, actually I did right. Okay, so have it like that. Here is the palette. So in that case scenario it should error. Here it should error. And in the other cases, of course, it is covered by individual functions here. So of course, it's covered by the other tests. So let's actually confirm. Oh, not like that. Okay, 3. How many? Do I have 3 tests already? 1, 2. Anyway, that looks wrong. So let's move this to the top because then, of course, it is covered by the others, like here. And I will say as much. All the successful conditions are covered by subsequent tests. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the completion table. We don't care about that. That's not really important. These are prompts. Output buffer. Ah, the dogs are barking again. Somebody is driving by. Of course, the dogs will want to go for a walk, so you soon have to close anyway. So output buffer. Let's see. Yeah, let's actually do this. Why not? So the way we would do this is, okay, let's do ERT def test M and this. Okay. And what we want to do now should buffer P and then this function, because now, of course, I don't care what this function has in the buffer. So let's just say hello. This should return a buffer object. Yes, that's great. It should return a buffer. Of course, the buffer has to be a buffer. So if and actually, let's have it here. If and no, actually, let's leave it like that, because if you do with current buffer, something that is not a buffer, so this is right, this should error, not a buffer here. Okay, this should error. Okay, but we don't need this. So yeah, that's already good. And then of course, display buffer. I don't need to be testing primitives such as display buffer and stuff. Like this is covered by Emacs. If it doesn't work, it's not my problem anyway. So let's run the tests. All it says 4 because of course I defined 1 and I deleted. That's why. Okay, so the kill ring, this is trivial. I don't need a test for that. The output file ultimately goes to that, but it goes to this test, so it is covered by this def test m, and then this, and then what I want to do, it is should not here, and let me do let existing file. Let's do a make temp file, modus themes exporter test empty file. Okay, let existing file. Of course, if it's non-interactive, it will still prompt, which I don't like this, because now by it prompting, okay, but this I can emulate, so no worries. So should not, meaning it should return nil. So what I can do here, cl let f, and what I can say here is symbol function of the yes or no p. I want to bind this to ignore, which means basically return nil, always return nil. So that will return nil. And then if I do this to always, it should return a buffer, should buffer p. And then the rest of the test here is like that. Okay, if I do this, does it actually create the file? So it's not a buffer, right? So if I say empty, okay, it didn't create a file. So what's the error here? Called with 1 argument but requires 2. Oh, of course, and the string we don't really care about. Hello. Actually, there is a third test here for the string. It should be a string. It cannot be. Actually, insert hello, I think, will work. So not correct. So, and here the buffer, I can have it like this. So here, oh, okay, like this. Okay, so that's good. Let me try. This should return an error. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so that's correct. Let's evaluate this test and see what we do. Here, T. No, what is the error here? Should not, will not write to file, of course. Will not write to file, but then it should return nil. Prog1, return nil, and print the message, okay? Let's see. No. Should, okay, should. That returns nil, it doesn't return the buffer that I'm expecting. It returns nil because it saves the buffer. Okay, it saves the buffer, but it should return buffer actually. Write to file the string, display the buffer, the corresponding buffer, and return the buffer. Okay, also here. So insert string in a buffer in the modus-themes-exporter buffer and display it. Okay, so that's good. Let's go here. Test. All the tests are passing. This is fantastic, folks. Let's see. What else do we have here? We can test this, but this is trivial also. Like, it's very easy to test. Like, I don't think we need a test for this. Like, if it's this, it works. Basically, if it's, yeah, these are the two errors. So this I don't test. It's not important. And, well, I covered everything with tests. The theme does not have a palette. That's fine. I don't need to test that. Of course, technically, the result could be nil, but then you will get the error here, so that's fine. Or if you continue, you might get the error elsewhere. So I think we are good. So yes, folks, this is very good. I wrote the package, basically. Not to say that this is the finished article, but that I can refine it further. But this is already very good, and I want to implement more templates, and then we are good. Of course, I will have to push this to GitHub now, so I can do that off stream, no problem. So there is a typo in successful, success. Where did you see that? Let's see. Success. Okay, good. Yes, very good, very good. Let's see, what else do we have? I think there is a typo in successful. Yeah, that's good. Hi, Prod. I hope you are doing well. Please explain the use case for the CL things. What's the difference between CL and the regular ones? Of course. So here, first of all, what I am doing here, let's understand this specific use case by writing to the scratch. Okay. So symbol function. Actually, let's do something here. Define test. Okay, and test always returns true. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So there is the symbol function of the symbol test, and this is actually what you see here represented is actually, I will leave it like there, it's actually lambda of nil, which is the same as this, okay? And then basically it returns true. Actually, because that's a little bit confusing, let's return hello. And then doc string. Okay, let's have it like this. It returns hello, okay? So you see here, let's have it like this. So here we have the lambda of hello, basically, and it returns true. So you see how it is, basically. That's the lambda, okay? With no arguments, whatever. I can have an arg here. And you see now with the arg, okay? You get the idea, right? So what we are doing here is we are saying, so the concept of let is for local bindings. So you are binding something, some variable to some value, and this is true in the body, okay? With CL let F, we have a more generalized let. So you may have seen in Emacs Lisp the concept of set F. So set F is like set Q, but it has a more generalized concept of the place. For example, if I have a cons, let me actually define it here. Set Q set q, here I am defining a test cons, and it's the cons cell of A and B. Okay, so if I do test cons, it's like that. So here, what I want to do is set f the car of the test cons. Okay, the car of the test cons. So it's not a symbol, it's a place. Okay, so I want the car of the test cons to be C. I evaluate what is now test cons. It's C and B, you see? So set f allows you to change the place, which is a more abstract way where you get the place in some way. So CL let f is basically the same as set f, but for let. And this is something that Common Lisp has. That's why it's called CL, okay? And Emacs implements Common Lisp basically in Emacs Lisp. It's the Common Lisp library. That's what CL stands for. So what we are doing here, okay? So this yes or no P, let's come here. This yes or no, oh my goodness, what is that? Okay, imagine this yes or no P is a small thing like this and it returns true or nil, okay? So what I am saying here is that because this is interactive, I cannot just run my test interactively. I just want, for our purposes, for this, the function of this, so the lambda of this, the actual code of this, the actual computation of this, to be the same as ignore. So I am saying for the purposes of this call, yes or no P actually means ignore. And ignore always returns nil. So if you do ignore and then list of 1, 2, 3 or whatever, it returns, no, that's not right. What did it do? Oh, of course, sorry. Nil, okay? So this will always return nil. And the opposite, if I do always, this will always return true, okay? So if we go back to our test here, I say here that I want, for our purposes here, to respond to the question that this file has, this interactive prompt, like, do you want to override yes or no? In one case, I want to say no. This means no. This means no to the override. This is yes to the override. This means no to the override. And this is yes to the override. Okay? So that's the idea. Now, generally, why CL? Why is that even a thing? So Common Lisp is a more basic language than Emacs Lisp is a more common Emacs Lisp is a more basic language than Common Lisp. The thing is that generally that is enough. For most use cases, it works. But there are times where you want to do something more advanced. And Emacs Lisp doesn't have those elements to do it, that functionality, those primitives. Common Lisp has them. So by implementing a part of Common Lisp in Emacs Lisp, you basically extend Emacs Lisp in a way that many Common Lisp developers will understand. So, of course, it's something that is natural for Emacs Lisp because Emacs Lisp and Common Lisp are not too different. So you can't go from one to the other. And basically, that's why CL exists. Of course, this is implemented as a macro in Emacs Lisp, right? So fundamentally, you can do all this in Emacs Lisp. So it is done in Emacs Lisp, of course. So you can actually go and see how it is implemented if you want. And if you wanted, you could get rid of the Common Lisp part and basically do something similar yourself. But it's a lot of work, of course. So the idea is that for cases where the CL extras make sense, you just use them. So basically, that's it. But let me know if there is something else. Of course, just to say, there are people who like to write Emacs Lisp packages using CL for everything. And me, I don't like that. Me, I want to use CL when it's an essential, when it's really needed. Otherwise, I try to do things in the Emacs Lisp way. So yes, this is it, folks. I just need to push this to the repo. So let me actually commit. Add modus themes exporter prototype. I did this on a live stream, and then I can actually go and get it. And then, of course, I need to add also the license. I forgot that. So, Protesilaos, let's go to my website, folks, and somewhere over here, somewhere over here is this. Okay. I actually did all of this live on a live stream, so that's good. Let's actually go and get a new one, a license from here, and modus exporter. Okay, here. Does it have anything related to GNOME in there? No. Okay, that's beautiful. So let's add the license as well. Oh, add the copying. Okay. Okay, that's good. I just need to go to GitHub and create that. But I will do that off stream and then I will push it. Okay, folks? So let's call it a day. Thank you very much for your attention. So, how long did it take me to write this package? Granted, it's a small package, it's not a big, really advanced package, but it took me 3 hours of streaming, of which I talked for I don't know how long, but I did talk quite a bit. So yeah, that's good, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. I will close the stream now, and then I will add this to GitHub. I will create a GitHub repo, and then push, and then you can test this. And then, of course, the next plan is to implement more templates. It's really that. But yeah, this is good. This is very good. So thank you very much for your attention, folks. I'm closing the stream. Take care, and